Morning, my children. I'm going to bring you through George Washington's Three Visions for the Union. Some of you may have never seen it. I keep bringing it up and bringing it up. The man that wrote this particular one covers the kind of ground that I couldn't do any better doing. So, good morning, America. How are you? George Washington's vision, prophecy, the great perils will come upon Republic. Good morning, America, how are you? Well, don't you know me? I'm your native son. I ain't the train they call the city of New Orleans. I'm just a concerned American veteran. And veteran means that we're better at what we were taught to do, as we grouped together and spoke of it and gave each other new ideas beyond what any one of us knew. Now, I'd like to see America come back to a place of blessedness. I think that it was always destined to become part of this world system. Some of you punks know that. But in the midst of the demons in our love feast, there's people worth every ounce of blood. We're going to go to George Washington's Three Visions for the Union. I've mentioned it and mentioned it. I get very little responses from people. I found a version of it where a man covers just about what I clearly see happening in this country. And there's all kinds of warnings out there, but I don't see anybody just covering the three visions of George Washington, our very first president, from 1777 to 78. And that vision was given to someone he knew, and then that person had passed it on to another person. Now, whether it's a absolute fact or not, you decide. I'm a man who can interpret dreams in a lot of cases, especially in my own case. Let's take a look at what this man has to say, America. Good morning. While I have my coffee, of course. George Washington's vision, prophecy. Three great perils will come upon the Republic, the United States. 1777-78. A vision received by George Washington. The father of our country, George Washington, was a man of prayer. Many of us have read of how he went to the thicket many times to pray during the winter. His army was at Valley Forge. However, little publicity has been given to the vision and prophecy he received at that time. The account of this vision was given in 1859 by an older soldier. He gave it to a writer, Wesley Bradshaw, who published it. In the vision, God revealed to George Washington that 3 great perils would come upon the Republic. He was given to know that America was going through the first peril at that time. The older soldier who told the story of the vision said the nation would soon see, and that was soon after 1859, this man writes, all these in parentheses, and this man does not identify. It says that the soldier who told the story of the vision said the nation would soon see the account verified by the second peril descending upon the land. We give the account here as printed in the U.S. War Veterans paper, the National Tribune, in December 1880. The National Tribune became the Stars and Stripes of Vietnam vets. This article was printed in the publication December 21st, 1850. And this was the preface. I do not know whether it is owing to the anxiety of my mind or what, but this afternoon as I was sitting at this table engaging in preparing a dispatch, something in the apartment seemed to disturb me. Looking up, I beheld standing opposite to me a singularly beautiful being. So astonished was I, for I had given strict orders not to be disturbed, that it was some moments before I found language to inquire the cause of the visit. I guess he was lost for words. A second, a third, and even a 4th time did I repeat my question, but received no answer from my mysterious visitor, except a slight raising of the eyes. By this time I felt sensation spreading through me. I would have risen, but the riveted gaze of the being before me rendered volition impossible. I essayed once more to speak, but my tongue became useless, as if paralyzed. And these kind of things are common when angelic beings would visit our Old Testament prophets, and they would fall down as dead men, and then the angel would speak or touch them and say that I'm also a servant of the Lord, and they would rise up and regain strength. Same thing happened here with George Washington. A new influence, mysterious, potent, irresistible, took possession of me. All I could do was to gaze steadily, vacantly at my unknown visitor. Gradually, the surround atmosphere seemed to fill with sensations and grew luminous. Everything about me seemed rarefied. The mysterious visitor also became more airy and yet more distinct to my sight than before. I began to feel as one dying, see it? Or rather to experience the sensations I sometimes imagine accompanying death as a dead man. Just like the Old Testament people who were visited by angels. I did not think, I did not reason, I did not move. All were alike impossible. I was only conscious of gazing fixedly, vacantly on my companion. Now, the introductory part of the vision. Presently, I heard a voice say, "Son of the Republic, look and learn." While at the same time, my visitor extended an arm eastward toward the Atlantic and Europe. I now beheld a heavy white vapor at some distance rising fold upon fold. This gradually dissipated and I looked upon the strange scene. Before me lay out in the vast plain all the countries of the world, Europe, Asia, Africa, and America. I saw rolling and tossing between Europe and America lay billows of the Atlantic, and between Asia and America lay the Pacific. The Son of the Republic said the same mysterious voice as before. Look and learn. The first peril predicted the Revolutionary War. At that moment, I beheld a dark, shadowy being like an angel standing, or rather floating in midair between Europe and America. Dipping water out of the ocean, in the hollow of each hand he sprinkled some upon America with his right west hand, while with his left east hand he cast some over Europe. The angel was facing south. Immediately a cloud arose from these countries and joined in mid-ocean. For a while it remained stationary, and then it moved slowly westward until it enveloped America in its murky folds. Sharp flashes of lightning gleamed through at intervals, and I heard the smothered groans and cries of the American people. And this man says this may be interpreted to have been the Revolutionary War, then in progress. A second time the angel dipped water from the ocean and sprinkled it out as before. The dark cloud drew back to the ocean, in whose heaving billows it sank from view. Then the western expansion in America. A third time I heard the mysterious voice saying, Son of the Republic, look and learn. I cast my eyes upon America and beheld villages, towns, cities sprung up, and one right after another, until the whole land from the Atlantic to the Pacific was dotted with them. Again I heard the mysterious voice say, Son of the Republic, the end of the country cometh. That was at the end of the 1700s. Look and learn. The second peril, slave trade from Africa, is used to instigate the Civil War. At this time, a dark, shadowy angel turned his face southward. From Africa, I saw an ill-illumined spectre approach our land. It flitted slowly and heavily over every town and city of the latter. The inhabitants presently set themselves in battle array against each other. Civil War. As I continued to look, I saw a bright angel on whose brow was traced the word Union. He was bearing the American flag. He placed the flag between the divided nation and said, Remember, ye are brethren. This may be interpreted as to have been the Civil War. Instantly, the inhabitants, casting down their weapons, became friends once more and united around the national standard. The third peril, phase 1. The U.S. is invaded by foreign troops. For years, UN foreign troops have been brought to the USA and stationed on recently shut down military bases in the USA. They are told to wait until martial law is declared in the USA. These existing foreign troops combined with the invading foreign troops are used to implement and enforce martial law in the USA as a key part of the plan to bring the USA under the New World Order, to bring the USA under the UN, then later possibly under the Scarlet Beast of Revelation 17. Now we return to George Washington. Again I heard a mysterious voice saying, "Son of the Republic, look and learn." At this, the dark shadowy angel placed a trumpet to his mouth and blew 3 distinct blasts. And taking water from the ocean, he sprinkled it upon Europe, and that is the EU, including France and Germany, Asia, Russia, and China, and Africa, including the Arab countries. Possibly the 10 kings of Revelation who hate Mystery Babylon, which is similar to the USA, which is the way I feel. Then my eyes beheld a fearful scene, George said. From each of these continents arose thick black clouds, soon joined into one under the United Nations and or New World Order organizations, possibly joining into one under the Scarlet Beast. And that is the Roman Catholic Church. And when martial law was declared in the USA, George says, I dimly saw these vast armies devastate the whole country and burn the villages, towns, and cities which I had seen spring up. And Revelation 17:16 mentions, burn her with fire. Now these are just possibilities. As my ears listened to the thundering of the cannon, clashing of swords, and the shouts and cries of millions in mortal combat, George is really seeing a vision here. This man goes on to say the third peril, phase 2, was a nuclear attack, possibly, on the U.S. The 10 kings of Revelation, 10 communist states and governments who hate the woman, USA, which is actually not the USA. The woman dressed in scarlet is on 7 hills, and it shall burn her with fire. Now, John goes on. John says, as my ears listened to the thundering of the cannon, clashing of swords, and the shouts and cries of millions in mortal combat, I again heard the mysterious voice saying, Son of the Republic, look and learn. When the voice had ceased, the dark, shadowy angel placed his trumpet once more to his mouth and blew a long and fearful blast. Now, if anybody's ever heard of yellow alert, like in Vietnam or something, in war, that's pretty scary. Instantly, a light of 1,000 suns. That is an angelic visitation in the Old Testament. Now, this man says a nuclear attack? Question mark. Involving 1,000 nuclear warheads, each one being as bright as the sun when it explodes? I don't know. Well, John says, they shone down from above me and pierced and broke into fragments of the dark cloud which enveloped America. At the same moment, the angel upon whose head still shone the word Union, and who bore our national flag in one hand and a sword in the other, descended from heavens, attended by legions of white spirits. These immediately joined the inhabitants of America, who I perceived were well nigh overcome. The USA falls, and the nuclear attack, well, is over for the surviving Americans. But who immediately taking courage again, closed up their broken ranks and renewed battle. This man says, like I think, a revival breaks out in America. among the survivors. The third peril, phase 3. The USA is victorious because America repents. Aha! I will heal your land. Remember? Again, amid the fearful noise of the conflict, I heard the mysterious voice say, "Son of the Republic, look and learn." As the voice ceased, the shadowy angel, for the last time, dipped the water from the ocean and sprinkled it upon America. Instantly, the dark clouds rolled back together with the armies that it had brought, leaving the inhabitants of the land victorious. That always brought a tear to my eye, reading that part. And this man, of course, says, America repents, the judgment is over, and the foreign armies are removed from the USA. A spiritually revived America will leave Americans victorious. Now, the third peril, phase 4, America repents. Revival in America. This is the way this guy wrote it, not as George Washington recited it to his soldier friend. Then once more I beheld the villages, towns, and cities springing up where I had seen them before, while the bright angel planting the azure standard cried with a loud voice, "While the stars remain and the heavens send down dew upon the earth, so long shall the union last." But this man says, but no longer as the world's superpower. And taking from his brow the crown which blazoned the word union, he placed it upon the standard, while the people kneeling down said, "Amen, so be it." Evidently this man would say, America repents, kneeling down to God, the U.S. returns to being the Christian nation God created, and a great revival occurs in the USA. Amen. Now, some of you could see that as one-sided, and there's nothing wrong with that. You're American. You're allowed to do that. Now, the summary of the vision's 3 perils. Now George is going to finish. The scene instantly began to fade and dissolve. And I saw nothing but the rising, curling vapor I at first beheld. This also disappeared, and I found myself once more gazing upon the mysterious visitor, who in the same voice before said, "Son of the Republic, what you have seen is thus interpreted. The 3 great perils will come upon the Republic. The most fearful of her is the 3rd. But the whole world united shall not prevail against her." And this man says, of course, if America repents and Americans can learn to live for God. But George says, let every child of the Republic learn to live for his God, his land, and union. With these words, the vision vanished, and I started from my seat and felt that I had seen a vision wherein had been shown me the birth, progress, and destiny of the United States. I don't know how many times I have brought this to people's attention. Now, the non-religious people out there are just going to be the typical assholes that they are about it because they're blind and they can't help it, they can't see. But you and I have both seen the black cloud come from the east, bearing a sword. There's nothing but turmoil in our country. There's nothing but terrorist attacks from radical Muslims. This morning, I'm watching the newest one on Bill O'Reilly, and I posted that on Facebook. What do I attempt to do besides being a comedian, having fun, and living my life? You have to be on guard duty. I have to be. I have a picture up there where I'm on guard duty, and I don't know everything. But this vision, these three visions have made the most sense to me. And almost give me hope for America that I lost a long time ago. Everybody's just busy mowing their lawns, telling me life has always been like this, or some nonchalant, well, hey, you know, if it gets closer to our town, maybe we'll worry about it. Something's wrong with this picture. I don't have a riding mower. And I see them planting their grass. They will marry and give in marriage until the flood comes, right? Well, the flood is already here. And I have to take breaks to relieve myself. And there's not too many places I can go where I see and hear nothing pertaining to this subject matter. There is no escape. If you're a Buddhist, Zen Buddhism, and you're into this mind peace and you live in peace and at one with thyself, good for you. My Lord came in with a whip, tipped over tables, and said, "You're not going to make my Father's house a den of thieves and robbers." And when he raised Lazarus from the dead, he screamed, "Lazarus, come forth!" So we're a little bold, and the guillotines are ready, and America's got about 30,000 or more ready to be put into place. So, whether it's nuclear, as our man suggested, the cloud, a vapor, or our kids are instructed in grammar school and colleges, all throughout our nations, all the institutions, that the Muslim religion, which is an ideology, is a good thing. When Jesus himself is a good thing, and all men are liars. I'd like to wake up like that. George Washington's Visions of America.